Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to do a quick review video on the new, well, semi-new Huda Beauty eyeshadow palettes. This is a textured shadow palette, which is the Rose Gold edition. I believe it is limited edition, and it has been a hot commodity, let me tell you. So when it first came out in our store, I didn't get my hands on it and I was so bummed about it, but I waited for the launch on the Sephora website November 1st and I purchased it. Since then, I've been using it almost every day to try to see if I like it, because I've been hearing so many mixed reviews with all my coworkers, and some people absolutely love it. Some people, you know, it just was awful. So I'm here to tell you guys what my review on this palette is. So I do love the packaging of the outside of the Huda palette. It retails for $65 on Sephora's website. I think that's the only place you can get it, but I'm not too positive. You have the sleeve that pulls out and you actually get your palette. I do like how it has like the large clear like plastic glass thingy, so you can see all the shadow colors, and the colors are obviously gorgeous. As you can see, you get a total of 18 shadows. Very beautiful fall colors. It is super lightweight and super comfortable to carry around. I do like that about it. I don't care too much about a mirror in a palette. It's nice, obviously, for travel, but I could care less for the mirror. So these are the shadow colors. You have some deep colors here at the bottom row, and then your middle row is a little bit more lighter neutrals, and then your top row is your 3D metallic colors. I don't want to swatch them all, but I do want to show you guys some of the pigmentation of some of the shadows, and you know, for my review, you guys can go based on that. So I'm going to swatch some of the colors that I have used already and that I do actually kind of like, but can do without. So I'll swatch these two here because these are your transition colors, and show you. On my fingers, they look okay. They feel very chalky, I'm not gonna lie. So here's that first one. And here's the second one. But on that first top color there, you can see how like chalky it is and how like the fallout. Can you tell? Like, look how bad that is. So here's the red, and you can see there that there is a lot of pigment to it, but still, once you blend it out, there's still a lot of chalkiness and a lot of fallout. And it's kind of unfortunate because I really was hoping that these shadows look like they would be so creamy compared to the Anastasia like Modern Renaissance palettes, or her shadows are so creamy to the touch. When you put it on your eyeballs, you can feel it. It's easy to blend, but like these ones, none of them are creamy. I use primer all the time. I use Urban Decay's Primer Potion, but they say you have to use a really good base primer, which, you know, I feel like eyeshadow primer should do the job for any shadows. If it's not, then it's the shadow, not the primer, because even with primer, it did not last. I haven't used any of the lighter pink shades here because I, you know, don't really care for it. I have used this one. This one is a pretty color as well, but same thing, chalky. This cocoa shade is also nice, but all of the shadows are pretty chalky. They give a lot of good pigmentation on your fingers when you're using them. As you can see, it's still red. But when you apply it to your eyes with a brush, it's when you lose all that pigment. And it's like, I'm not trying, if I'm gonna spend $65 on a palette, I better have good blend out, I better have good pigmentation, and I don't have to work for it. And this palette, for sure, you have to work for it. So let me just swatch a couple more. I'll swatch the black so you can see the black. In the palette here, or in the pan, it's super dark, but in like swatching or on your eyelids, not dark at all. And same for Bossy, which is like this color right here. Look at that, you can kind of see it in my finger. The black is super skippy, and that is the one swatch. Just like, I didn't skip, I literally just swatched it, and that's how that comes out. And then now just to kind of quickly go over the metal colors here. They are gorgeous colors, and the idea of them are brilliant. but the payoff just wasn't the best. I've used a couple of them already. I've used Fling, Rose Gold Trust Fund, and this guy here. And you for sure cannot use a brush with any of those metals. You have to use your finger, kind of like the ColourPop. The unfortunate thing about this is that even if you use amazing primer, if you use glitter glue, which I've tried too, and you try to pack it on your lids, by the end of the day, probably like 2-3 hours into it, it's gonna fall. And then when you try to blend it out, let's say if you're doing like a halo and you put the color in the center and you try to blend it out around so it's not this huge harsh like metal color on your lid and metallic color on your lid, it blends away. Like it does not stay on your lids at all. So I'll just swatch a couple of those ones for you guys to see. And that's how they swatch on the finger. So they are much creamier than the shadows when you do swatch it. And then just so you can kind of just see it. And they look super gorgeous. Like this shade here, which is Fling, such a pretty color. All of them are, but you guys can just see it for yourself. Like, look how skippy and patchy that is. It's just not an easy shadow to work with. I definitely don't recommend it to like beginners, because if you're still learning how to blend out a shadow, you're gonna have a hard time with this palette blending out any of the shadow colors. Overall, my thoughts are it's completely not worth it. It's not worth $65. I am so sad about it because I was, you know, like all these colors are colors that I would use on a daily basis. But unfortunately, the price and the color payoff and the pigmentation and just the overall quality of the palette is not worth $65. You get better pigment payoff in a Morphe palette than you do with this. I just wanted to do an honest review for everybody because it is such a hyped like palette, and you know, everybody's trying to get their hands on it. So if you watch this review and it helped you, maybe if you're going one way or the other from seeing all the other reviews, some people loving it, some people like not loving it, hopefully this is another video that you watch that can help you decide if it's worth it or not. $65 is a lot of money to spend on a palette. I hope you guys enjoyed that review. Sorry if I'm talking super fast. I have to go to work. I always do this to myself. And let me know down below if you have tried this palette and what your thoughts are on the palette. If you like it, if you don't like it, if you hate it, if you wanted to get it but now you're not getting it. Let me know down below what you think. And I will catch you guys all in my next video. Thanks again, guys. Bye. Mwah.